The Ministry of Health has instructed authorities in 18 provinces to classify areas of COVID-19 outbreak into color-coded zones as part of efforts to control the spread of the virus. Under a notice issued by the ministry on May 20th, villages have been allocated to red, yellow, or green zones, depending on the number of COVID-19 cases in each village. Under a notice issued by the ministry on May 20th, villages have been allocated to red, yellow, or green zones, depending on the number of COVID-19 cases in each village. In red zones, travel restrictions will be reinforced and lockdown measures tightened, using villages as units to control the spread of infections. Red zones cover villages where a case was reported in the past 14 days, but those sources of infections cannot be traced, or where at least 2 cases were recorded in the past 14 days. People living in a red zone may not leave their homes except for essential reasons such as buying food or medical emergency. The extended lockdown measures in red zones were announced after a large number of cases was detected in Phai village in Vientiane. Residents of red zones, including government employees, are prohibited from leaving their homes for work, while markets and factories in these areas are closed. Transport to and from villages will be suspended, and the police will set up checkpoints to enforce the order. Residents may take a walk near their homes but must maintain a distance of at least 1 meter from other people and wear a face covering. Family members must not visit each other if they live in separate houses, and people must avoid contact with their friends. Above all, people must not gather in groups. Although factories are closed, dormitories continue to house employees but must comply with government guidelines on virus prevention. Yellow zones cover villages where 1 case of COVID-19 has been reported in the past 14 days and whose sources can be traced. This zone also includes villages that border on a red zone or village where residents are known to have had contact with an infected person. People can travel to yellow zones, villages, but must comply with virus prevention measures. Restaurants can sell food for takeaway purposes only. In yellow zones, government officials, if necessary, can work in shifts at their offices or work online from home. However, gatherings of more than 5 people are prohibited. Villages designated as green zones are those where no cases of COVID-19 had been reported for 14 days, and where no one is known to have come into contact with an infected person. However, people living in green zones must fully comply with the Prime Minister's order on the reinforcement of measures for the containment, prevention, and response to the COVID-19 pandemic.